What's happening, boys? How we doing?
Aye, good, mate.
Meh.
Good. Yeah. Is that it? We're off 11th in the league. It's like 6 weeks too late, but
Well, we're ninth, I think.
10 points off forward. European surge begins now. No. Cool.
Well, if aye, okay, fair enough. Right. Yeah, aye, okay. Yeah, I'm delighted to be here, Tam. You've changed my mind. I'm in a good mood now.
You've called the community chat. That must be felt quite good.
Oh yeah. It did actually. Getting rid of interlopers and people that just sit there and lurk. And aye. But it's all done now, so if you're still in the community chat, then well done. Continue continue to post, because come the end of the season, if your count hasn't went up, then you're getting fucking launched, and that'll be that. That includes you, Tam.
Oh, I'll just get bullied for the rest of the time anyway till the end of the season, so it's fine. It's fine.
Challenge accepted.
Challenge accepted, I said. But aye, welcome back to This Is My Story podcast. Thanks again for listening. I don't know why I said that. That's the worst thing I've ever said. But
we're on YouTube now. Folk can watch us and that.
Aye. Oh, you mean like hit that like and subscribe button?
Oh no, well, listening. That's one way of doing it. But you can also see our lovely faces on YouTube visually.
To be fair, they couldn't listen last week, Ando, because nope.
Because what?
I'm no pointing any fingers, but yeah. We'll move on.
Yeah, sorry. We housekeeping thing. I didn't actually notice until we all got together for this one that I forgot to publish the audio for last week's one, and it seems fucking stupid to do it now. So if you want to watch, if you want to listen to last week's episode, you'll have to do it on YouTube only, because sometimes real life just gets in the way, and I'm daft and I forgot to do it. So. I've
done a lot worse, like put a click track on the audio or put it completely out of sync when I've done the editing. So you'll probably noticed an up in standard since Ando took over again. So yeah, it's fine.
But then we all have our wee foibles. I think Corbett put in the group chat earlier on that I think, was there not one time where we're doing a live broadcast and I thought the cameras and the mics were off, and then I just went about assassinating folk that were on.
Yeah, you said how much you loved our listener base. And,
and I do love our listener base. Thank you if you're listening or watching. I love you dearly.
Of course. Right, we'll do the pleasantries anyway. So, Kev, we'll go to you. How you been? You all right?
I've been all right.
You've had a busy old time with your working life as of not being here last week, but aye, all good.
Well, there was two reasons. There was working life, but there was also the fact that somebody celebrated their birthday last week. So, for that point of view, they were out for their dinner that night. So, there we go.
For your birthday, Kev?
Yes, mate. Another year
was it as well?
The grave.
Oh, I didn't even wish you happy birthday.
Happy birthday, buddy.
Bastards, I'm really sorry, man.
Mate, when you get to my age, doesn't give it any shit. It's just the same day. Makes no difference.
Without joking in that, are you...
No, but it's
you
total
on the 50
shite.
Mark at this point, or
it is total shite that genuinely this is us wishing you happy birthday for the first time since last week. I'd be raging with that.
Nah, you're fine, boys. You're fine. Sorry, Tom, I never heard your question anyway.
It doesn't matter, to be fair. But
cool.
What I was saying is, I rely on Facebook to tell me it's birthday. So as a man that doesn't have Facebook, Kev, you're an enigma for birthdays. Like,
yep,
doesn't it tell me?
Perfectly fine. If that's the case, I'm still 39.
What age are you now, Kev?
49.
60? Oh, okay.
Fuck you, Yiffy.
So you are closer to 60, really, but aye, by 1 year.
One of the things.
Next year we'll have a big celebration then, mate. That's fine. Anyway, Ando, you been good since?
Yeah, mate. I'm delighted to be here. As I say, I've had a good weekend. Yeah, how was your weekend?
It's good, mate.
Yo, what'd you get up to?
I went to the game yesterday.
No, you didn't. Tell everybody what you done instead. This is just the level of shithousery for this wee pellet. Right?
Just went out for a wee day out, man.
And so instead of going to the game, you know what? You don't have to go to every game. That's fine. You can choose to not go to a game like I did. I didn't go yesterday.
You don't go to any games, man. So.
I got the ones that matter, Tam. That's all. But when I don't go, guess where I don't go? I don't go to the place that you went yesterday. Tell everybody where you went yesterday. Instead of the famous Heart Midlothian Football Club. Where did you go instead?
Try and get a cool excuse here, but
okay. Well,
you don't have one.
You don't have one. Okay, so Tam went to the Rocky Horror Picture Show with his bird yesterday instead of going to the football.
A group of like 20 of us went for.
Did you dress up, Tam?
I had my corset and my high heels and my suspenders. And
do you know that?
I'm kidding.
Fuck's sake.
You're making it a joke. You're making it as a joke, and I do not believe you for 1 second.
I know. I look good in suspenders, by the way.
I'm going to message your missus and find it.
Sound. Kev can.
I'll ask her what at work.
Teams are at work, so it's fine. He can find it. Let's move on.
Yes, please. Let's do it.
Jason Donovan, though, his performance at the weekend was amazing. He was actually in that show. There you go.
I was going to say, have we signed him? Is that a Jamestown analytics thing? But okay, fair. I'll get you now.
We've smashed the Australian market, mate. We're moving on. So right. On that, we'll go for headlines and we'll talk about
worst intro ever, by the way.
I know.
Right. Well.
Corbett, why you're man? Just to clarify,
I don't think we should talk about why he's not here.
He pulled it about 10 minutes ago because he was not pulling it, basically. So I'm taking charge. So
he's gonna
anyway,
he's gonna absolutely bar you, and I want to be there when it happens. Right, back on track. Go.
Right, busy week. Right, we spoke about it last week. Kev, you weren't here for it, so we'll get your thoughts. But obviously now we have Steinvender and Khartoum confirmed. Thoughts? Happy? Or are you like the rest of us and know nothing about them except their Wikipedia page?
Yeah, I think that's probably accurate. Not knowing a great deal in regards to Scandinavian football, everybody knows like the teams, of course, but individual players probably don't know a great deal about them. No doubt they have been put through Jamestown analytics in regards to the kind of players that we're actually looking for. But from that point of view, and given yesterday's opening 10-15 minutes, where Halkett going off again with another injury that no doubt will keep him out for, if it's a hamstring pull, that could be anything between 4 and 10 weeks. Which, given an equation into Heart of Midlothian Football Club, means that we probably won't see him again until this time next year.
Yeah, I was going to say I don't want to pull you up, but that's 4 and 10 months.
Yeah. And I think Corbett said it as well a number of weeks ago. I don't know how the training is now under Critchley and his coaching staff, but if they're still doing training at sort of 80%, these are the kind of things that can actually happen. It wasn't even like a lung busting run that he had to make to track the boy back. Threw himself in to block the cross. Great, he did block the cross, but if that's how easy your hammies go, you've got to then ask the question is, do you start to maybe look at ways of moving him out the team and moving him out the club? I'm sorry to say that's just the way we've got to be nowadays.
Definitely. I agree with you. I mean, I feel he can't catch a break though. We've seen he's been performing pretty well in the last 5 games, but at the same time, how long are you going to rely on Craig Halkett? And when do you need to just move on and say that's it?
Yeah, and the Steinwender might come in and Halkett wins his aerial duels is definitely in his favour. I don't know what the stats are, but he must win majority of his aerial battles with whoever he's playing against.
That in and of itself is mental because he's quite
he's not the biggest guy.
Let's not mock about. He's not exactly tall and he's not exactly slim.
No, but his head and ability and his actual reading of the ball flight is what actually gets him ahead of a lot of players. But yeah, I mean, we might find that Steinwinder comes in. I don't think he's played a game since end of November. Khartoum's the same. I think he's played since November or December with the Scandinavian sort of end of season period. So from that point of view, it'll take them a wee bit of time to not only get to match fitness, but also the way in which you play a game as well. There's a number of different elements and levels in regards to getting to that point, and we may not see that maybe even till towards the end of this season, maybe April or May, before we see that kind of level from those players. But it's positive. So from that point of view, more than happy to see them come in to positions that we needed to fill. Simple as that. Especially losing, or Rills leaving. Appreciate that McCart's came in. So from that point of view, you've got one extra central defender, which we needed, given we'd lost Kingsley and we'd lost Kent. And then the other player, of course, is Khartoum. And is it Sander Khartoum? I mean, is he maybe a replacement for Grant, who is at this moment in time, he's probably in and around the first team, but he's out of contract at the end of the season. He's played some really good performances. If somebody comes in and says they're interested in him, would it be a case that we maybe look to move him on as well? Because that's the next step, in my opinion, in this window is moving players on. But we can come to that later.
100%. No, I agree with you there. It seems that it's kind of annoying in the fact that these two new signings, both quite exciting, but at the same time, I was fully expecting them both to be in the squad at the weekend. But when you look at it, they've not played for 2 months, 3 months, near enough, and you're like, actually, probably not the best idea.
There's not going to have time to learn the system either yet, really, have they? Because it's like if they've been on the the end of their season, like they're going to have to get minutes in the legs in training before they even start trying to integrate and learn the system. So
totally. And look, what Khartoum arrived, was it Thursday? Was he announced? Or
like
Thursday.
Thursday night,
to be honest, on the basis of how the world was on Friday, would he have trained Friday, or would their team have trained Friday? No, likely. Realistically, it's one of those things. Give it a couple of weeks, we'll see how they get on. But I'm quite positive about those. They seem like upgrades on what we've have. I don't know if you would agree with that.
Again, from my point of view, you can't really say anything. We've not seen them play. You might find that he comes in and he's doesn't fit into the way in which we play. Unlikely, I appreciate, but you just don't know until we see them play.
Yeah, and me and you, Kev, discussed how obviously Boyce, when he left, we discussed it that week, and we did say how much a gap that we that we needed to fill. So it's good to see we've got that sort of number 10, number 8 that could be that sort of attacking link between the midfield and the sort of front 4, 3, however many we play.
Yeah, I think so. Again, probably like a lot of people have seen the various videos of Khartoum. It does look like he likes to sit in that position. He looks 2-footed, which is great as far as I'm concerned. Has the ability, I guess, with being 2-footed, that he can go both left, right. I think there's a number of players that want to play in the 10 but are so right-footed or left-footed. It's just, in my opinion, it's not the best. You've got to be 2-footed to be able to play that. And Boyce could do that. Do you know what I mean? Boyce had the I wouldn't say the skill, but he had the ability to play in that position because he was 2-footed. If you play Danda there, Danda always wants to go on his right foot. If you play Spittle there, he always wants to go on his left. And that's why I think most of them are played out wide, but again, aren't wingers. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, 100%. Any add on those two, Ando?
No, not really. I think you have to be hopeful, and you have to kind of just trust in the system until we've got a reason not to. It's not as if it's the whole Craig Levine, let's just sign 10 players in a transfer window and hopefully 5 of them stick. Like with all the shite that we've had over the years, I'm just praying that this system that we've employed is far better. The question though, what's happening with Chesnikov? Does anyone know what's happened there? Because that one's all kind of went quiet, isn't it? I think there was some sort of... Is this the one where... And again, this is all allegedly or whatever, but was there some sort of dodginess with the chairman of that club that's trying to sell him?
Yeah, like the whoever owns the club is apparently the mayor of the town, and yeah, there's certain
Shithouser.
I don't know. Yeah, we don't know, but yeah, we'll see. They came out and said that Hearts were trying to lowball them, and to devil advocate it, that wouldn't surprise me as well.
Quite right. But were they not from like some sort of tin pot dictatorship country or something like that?
Yeah, they're from Kazakhstan or something like that.
Oh, fucking absolutely lowball them.
Yeah, I think
the
one thing
to a Kazakh team. Fuck that.
The one thing that gets me though on that is, yeah, the guy can be, top player in that particular league and everyone else. The one thing that got me was the fact that if we met their particular fee that they want for him, then the actual owner of the club would drive him himself to Edinburgh. Now, I don't know about anybody else, but if somebody offered like 3 Mars bars and a bag of Maltesers for Barry Mackay at this moment in time, I would drive Barry Mackay to wherever that particular club was.
Yeah, but I don't know where Kazakhstan is on a map.
It's a fair bit away.
Is it not basically a Middle East type thing?
But then
it's an old Soviet, effectively an old Soviet country.
It is. The other way to read that, right, is that if we met the valuation and paid them the money, he'd be so happy and delighted that they managed to get that much money for him that's why he's going to drive them, right? And so that tells you everything you need to know, which is the price. The price they're asking is ridiculous.
Yeah, that's a fair point. To be fair, so
thanks,
the boys out of contract in what was it, November anyway?
Because they're the same seasons as the Scandinavian clubs. They run from February through to November, I think it is.
Yeah, so you know what to pay through the nose when you 10 months time you'll get them on a free.
Well, even then, 10 months time, like that's a long time to wait for somebody that may or may not be good, right? I'm pretty sure, can we not just go down the next person on the Jamestown list and go and get that guy instead?
Well, that is it.
Assuming it's that simple.
To be honest, you're going to touch on what I'm about to bring up in a bit, Ando, but we'll talk about the outgoings that we have kind of basically confirmed. One is confirmed. Me and Kev had a wee bit of fisticuffs about this about 2 minutes ago. But Macaulay Tate on loan to Livingston. Kev, go on then. Tell me how you feel.
I think it's a great move for the boy. I really do.
I think
that's an absolute superb move for him, because that's the level he's at. I apologise to people who don't agree with me, but I think that's the level he's at, and I'll explain why. He's small and he's lightweight, and unfortunately, you cannot be small and lightweight in this particular league. I don't think nowadays. There's not many small lightweight players. Right, there's small players out there, but they have got a bit of strength about them. I don't think Macaulay Tate's got a great deal of strength about him. He can quite easily come up against a Diamandi, for example, at Rangers, big, strong, centre midfielder. He'll get bullied out of the game. And don't get me wrong, him going to Livingston might be the making of him, and he might then turn it around because he has to fight and he has to battle in that particular league. That might be the case for him, but I think, in all honesty, that's a really good move for him. And if it works for him, it might actually be a good place for him to play the rest of his career. I'm not saying he's going to play there just at that level. My mind was blown today with Andy Irvine coming on for West Ham, and Jesus Christ, what the hell happened there? But I think that's the right move for Macaulay Tate, and I appreciate you don't agree with me.
No, I do agree with you. I think it is the right move for him. A lot you've said there, I do agree. But I think it's the right move for him to kick on to the next level, to be honest. I think going to that league where he's got a bit more physicality than what we've seen, a manager that's going to set expectations in Martindale, we all know Martindale's a bit of a Raj. He's going to shout at him. He's going to put him in his place. I feel that's the place where he could thrive and then kick on to the next level, and then next season he might be in our squad. That's where we differ.
So in that case, do you think, and understand we've just said about Khartoum and others that we have got in our current midfield, that Macaulay Tate would actually move them out of that current setup?
One player who I would compare Macaulay Tate to is Benny Beringamy. They're similar in the way they play, similar in recycling the ball, winning the ball back. Macaulay Tate doesn't have the physicality that Benny Beringamy does, but we can't rely on Benny Beringamy to play every game.
No, we can't. We can't. But again,
that seems like the logical sort of replacement for him.
But can Boateng not do that? So you're saying that Macaulay Tate could come back better than Boateng, who, for Corbett's point of view, or point he made is again another positive sign in this particular season.
If the rumours are to be believed, though, is he not on his way out?
Played yesterday. Yeah. He was supposedly out the door. He was on the bench last week at Brecon, and he came on yesterday.
Don't get me wrong, Kev. I've argued with Mr. Can't remember his Twitter handle.
You'd argue with yourself in the flipping darkened room. Let's be truthfully honest.
No, I've argued him. I think Boateng's brilliant. I keep getting told by this person on Twitter that he's the worst player Hearts have ever seen in terms of stats of losing games. But I think he's great.
Tell him to go and watch footage of Hearts player Paul Smith, that is now the assistant manager at Falkirk. He was quite literally the worst player that ever played in the Hearts shirt.
I don't know. Obviously, that's not a hard thing for me.
No, we could be here all night if we're opening that can of worms.
Ando, let's move on. Any thoughts to take to go to Livingston?
No, not at all. If I kind of agree with both of yous, which is probably not much to add on top of that. Wish him well. I think he's one of these guys that if he was going to do something, he would have done it by now. And I know that he doesn't get maybe the chance in the first team, but saying that, he's had a few opportunities so far this season. He hasn't taken them or whatever, but is there something that he can do? Like, why is he not involved in the B team? And I know that's a far lower standard, but I just don't think he's good enough, if I'm honest.
As far as I'm aware, Ando,
it's the right move for him.
He smashed the B team last year and was pretty much told, you're now first team player. He's only 19 as well. But,
I don't know.
We'll see. Anyway, I don't even have any thoughts in terms of my Livingston allegiances, as she's always pointing out as well. So, but we'll move on.
Well, we'll find out. If he goes there and absolutely smashes it, then okay, fine. We can all turn around and go, Tam was right.
I've got a feeling on the basis of how our loan moves for youngsters have went, it's more likely in terms of odds that Kev's probably going to be right here. But aye,
yeah,
we will move. And then obviously we heard yesterday Daniel Oyegoke. As far as Critchley was saying, there was interest. He wasn't in the squad. Further to that, since then, it's came out that he's going to looking at clubs from Serie A, Hellas Verona, Lecce, bidding more, apparently going up to £1 million. Is anyone as shocked as I am with that fee, league, everything else to go with it?
It does feel like we've, I don't know, went to bed on Friday and woken up on Saturday in some sort of parallel fucking universe, because like the reality where Oyegoke is £1 million player is absolutely blown my mind. Which also makes me suspicious of why are two clubs, not one, two, why are two clubs chasing him for that kind of price tag? What do they know that we don't? And what the fuck? How have we not spotted something that they clearly can see? I don't know.
And I
don't want to look at it too much. This is like
Ando, if anyone from Hellas Verona or Lecce is listening, Oyegoke has been by far our best player of the season. Smashed it every game.
£1 million is an actual steal.
The scouts for an Italian Serie A club are listening
best
to
part
this.
of our squad. Like the right side, the whole way. He's brilliant. Yep.
Shut up. There's no way any Italian scouts are listening to this drivel. But it's one. It does make you question things though, because two Italian Serie A teams. They both could be wrong. Probably. But I don't know. It's one of them. I'm looking at it with the eye of suspicion, which is fucking hell. Are we letting something slip here? Like, he's only played 20 odd games. Can we give him a little bit more of a try and see what happens? And he might turn out to be revolutionary. Then call that scenario A. That's unlikely. Probably going to happen. The other one is if somebody comes wants to buy your like a second-hand car off you and it's completely crap, it's 2 days away for failing its MOT or whatever, someone comes, get you 10 grand for that. I didn't bother, right? Didn't look under the bonnet, didn't do anything. Like, there you go, take the money and run. It's one of them. Like, I don't know what's the right one. Are we being done to, or have we got a diamond and we just don't know it?
I think there's a number of things there, and I mentioned it to you pre-show, Ando, is the fact that the boy was playing at second division championship in England last season for Bradford. Bradford, aye. For Bradford. And he also was only playing for Brentford's B team.
You're right.
That's really difficult to make sure. I mean, 49-year-old, I'm starting to lose it already.
You had this conversation with me an hour ago, and you were absolutely fine. What's went wrong?
I know. It's gone tits up, mate. But it's that element, right? If he's playing at that kind of level, and then all of a sudden, there's Italian teams, and I appreciate these are Italian teams that are currently fighting for fighting that relegation spot. I think one of them's like 17th, the other 16th, or whatever. But you've got to weigh it all up. And I would say, if there is an opportunity for the lad, let him go. Let him go. Genuinely let him go. And if it comes out in 3 seasons' time that he's playing for Juventus, so be it, right? We've all been proven wrong. However, nicely done. Make sure there's a 15% sell-on clause in there. Thank you very much. Cheers.
I'd go higher, but aye.
Like 15% of 15 million is a decent bit of cash, mate.
We see what happened with Aaron Hickey though, so let's make it 25 and we'll
that was different though. That was different. And I don't know. I mean, that's the other thing we don't know. Is there a sell-on clause from the contract and
there probably deal? Is a Brentford one as well, I would imagine.
Again, I don't know, mate. Right, because the Brentford would have probably went right. Okay, he's not making it to our first team, but he's got a chance to actually go and play in the Scottish Premier League. There's an opportunity for him. I don't think he came in for big money, if any money at all. Right? If you look at Transfer Market as a website, it tells you it was a free transfer.
Oh, really?
But others have said that there was a fee involved.
Yeah.
Don't know what that was. But for him to then even come in at low level sort of cash and to be moved on, it shows you a lot of how the analytics works, both in an incoming way as well as an outgoing. So from that point of view, it's a great bit of business for all parties involved, in all honesty.
To be honest, Kev, that you touched on what I was about to say. If this is Jamestown analytics, I'm all for it, because he's not good enough for the way we want to play. We've signed him for however much, and we're moving him on for near enough, let's say 4 times, in a sense, because I don't think we'll pay more than 250 grand for him in the first instance. So all for it, yeah.
Agree.
But so the window closes, I believe it's the 2nd or 3rd Sunday, is it? Or Monday?
4th. 4th. It's a Monday night.
The Monday night. So what are we looking for, gentlemen? We'll talk about outgoings first of all. Obviously, if you spoke to me on Friday, I would have expected Lewis Nielsen to go back out on loan. But obviously he's going to have to kick about because he came on yesterday.
Well, he can only go back to St Johnstone. So.
Oh yeah, true. I never actually thought about that, Ando. That's a good point. But would we give it to one of our relegation rivals? And that's been me negative again. There you go. But who do we expect to kind of go out, income? What do we want to see?
There's loads I want to see happen. But realistically, I don't think anyone is going to pay money for the dross that we've got in the squad that we need to get rid of. If I look down the list of people that you probably want to see the back of, so Barry Mackay being one of them, right? He's out of contract in the summer. No one's paying money for him. He's probably on half decent money. Again,
he's apparently the highest paid player at the club as well.
Is he? Well, fucking hell, he's going to just sit there with his feet up and let his money run down. Then Oda maybe as well. I think he's Critchley just doesn't really seem to fancy him at all. So I don't think he's played a single minute under Critchley, has he? Or if he has, I don't know.
Came on against Copenhagen.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think he came on. I think he came on against Dundee a way back, which would have been, but I don't know if Critchley had taken over by that point, if that was still under Liam Fox.
Yeah.
But you're right, Ando. Those two.
He's not.
I like that about Critchley. He's just said used to aren't good enough. You're not playing.
Yeah, and there's probably another one as well, but this is controversial. But Dander.
I don't know if that's controversial, to be honest.
I know.
Again, probably on a high wage, and he's just not showing up enough.
But then, is that his fault, or is it the system and Critchley's fault? I don't know. I see. The thing is, see with Dander, I want him to do well. Like I find myself willing him on to be like, cause some like Barry Mackay, for example. Never fucking liked him. Never from day one. Right.
That sums about.
He has
90% of the players that we've got.
True, but I'll talk you through the logic. Right, is that what has he ever done? Right, he's been a journeyman at God knows how many clubs. He's went there and he's left ignominiously every single time. Right, and you just think, see, after 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 clubs, you have to ask yourself the question. Guess what? It's not those clubs. It's fucking you, right? And it's the same thing that's happening here. That's happened every other team that he's went to. I think he thinks in his head he is probably better than he thinks he is. He thinks in his head that he's better than what we know him to be, right? Overinflated opinion of himself, probably doesn't have to try, like, oh, I've done a wee no-look pass, oh, check me out, I'm fucking Ronaldo, right? No, you're shite. Beat it.
I disagree slightly. We all know Barry Mackay's got ability, and on his day, he could be the best player at Hearts. But I think it's
wrapped up in an arsehole. He's got no application at all.
It's his
work rate and his effort.
That's what it is. Yeah, and that's what frustrates 90% of Hearts players that can see it every week. Well, when he was playing, but but he scored against Falkirk this week as well. Big player, big game player.
Brilliant.
I'm not saying anything.
Yeah,
I'm not saying anything. I know. Boils my blood.
I know. You drive him to. We spoke about Kazakhstan, but you drive him to Australia as far as you're concerned. You could.
if need be. It's just, you know what? I said it a few weeks back. The problem with Barry Mackay, you've just touched on it there, exactly there. We all know he's got the ability, but it's the actual dedication to be a football player. It comes back to what we've also said, many a time. Every single one of us here, and everybody who actually listens, if we all had the opportunity to actually play football and had the ability that Barry Mackay has, we would hope to all show it a hell of a lot more than Barry Mackay does. And that's what it is. And I wouldn't lose any sleep if he was to go. Same with Oda. Dander, I wholeheartedly get. I think, there was expectations there on him. Understand, that element of, is it the club's fault because we're not playing him in the position that he played for Ross County? But if you're a good enough football player, you should be able to play in that same element in regards to that front forward 3-4 players. So, as I say, there's a amount of times that he always wants to turn inside and come into the middle of the park. But then he comes into players and he comes into, fairly busy areas and loses the ball, or he has to always go backwards. And then that, the fans got on his back, and then with that, he also then becomes a little bit more in his shell, and he doesn't do what we all, again, believe that he can do. Just like Ando said, you want him to do well. However, so far hasn't showed it. As I say, I think Oda as well. The one I would say that's controversial is Grant. I know he scored yesterday, and I know that he's looked, and he's also been in the team for the last probably 6 games, maybe more than that actually.
Yeah.
But George Grant's an interesting one, given the fact that he is out of contract at the end of the season. So far, it seems that there's been no contract talks of extending. Scored yesterday. Does that put him in the shop window? Would you take, if a team come in with it would probably be a nominal fee, but if they came in with a nominal fee, would you just go, do you know what, let's take the money and let them move on and let them get a 2.5 or a 3.5 year deal, wherever that club may be? Who knows? I would probably take the money, if I'm honest with you, Because again, going back to what we said about Jamestown and everything else, the likelihood is in the summer, it's going to be the next level up in regards to incoming players. So from that point of view, would it be better just to take the money now?
See, when it comes to them, right, the players like that, I always, because if you sit and think about it too long, right, you'll think about, oh, remember when he done this, remember when he done that, and you'll find a reason to maybe go, oh fuck it, we'll keep him around, right? But this is then why you end up with 35 players in a squad and being a sentimental organisation, right? Because there's too many players like that. Too many people like that at the club that will go, fuck it, keep him, right? I always go on gut feel. If you said to me, we're going to lose George Grant tomorrow, what's my gut feel? See ya. Don't care, right? But if we were going to lose Lawrence Shanklin tomorrow, I'll go, damn. Like, you know what I mean? It's a shame because you'll miss him, right? And you think about all the good stuff that he's done for the club and all that, right? You just have a feeling and an appreciation for the player. George Grant is vanilla, grey.
Yeah.
Don't care. Leave. I'm not going to cry at all.
But thanks,
right, cheers.
Because,
thanks for your effort, but bye.
Last season, I think he was something like the most creative midfield player that we had last season. So yeah, there's been good points, as you rightly say, Ando. However, if you're not going to offer him a new contract, even if that's an extension, a year or whatever, then I think this is the opportunity. He's in the shop window. He's played the last, as I say, I think maybe 5 or 6 games. You know, you would maybe think, as a club, looking at that kind of player, because if it is, then there's an opportunity to make it, again, a little bit of cash. Khartoum could be the automatic replacement.
100%. Yeah.
I think one thing he has shown, just probably more in the last couple of weeks, and this is going by opinion rather than anything else, not anything I've seen myself, but just from, people in the group chat or whatever, but he's just gutless, spineless, shirking out of tackles and not getting involved as much as he probably should be, and it's not good enough.
And there's the other side of that. I mean, you know, he also then gets involved in things he shouldn't get involved in. Look at the Aberdeen game away. What was that, November time or whatever it was? You know, he got himself involved in something that he didn't need to get involved in, and then gets a stupid yellow on top of the yellow he'd already had, and he was off. And these are the kind of things that always sit in fans' minds, as far as I'm concerned, that these are the reasons why actually we do want to move you on, we don't want to keep you, is because sometimes you could just be stupid and you could just be a bit of an arsehole. So from that point of view, if somebody comes in, offers them money or offers us money for them, I go as far as say we take it. The other side of that is, though, that if nobody comes in, we get to the end of the season, again, thanks very much, Mr. Grant, but you can head back south or wherever you want to, you know, wherever we have an opportunity to go to. But yeah, I would say they're the players that could look at it being moved on.
Aye, fair.
I actually agree. But then you could have a weird one like Oyegoki kind of seemed to come out of nowhere. You never know. Shanklin, obviously with his contract situation, if somebody comes in and offers everyone seems to have a fee at the moment, is what I'm trying to say. And if somebody's going to meet it, that's what happens.
At the end of the day, Tam, we're a selling club.
Yeah.
And to go back to Ando's point from earlier on, we have been sentimental, too sentimental at times over the last 10, 15 seasons, since effectively the days of Romanov, where we would just get rid of folk just for the sake of getting rid of them because they maybe winked at them or something like that.
Spot on.
I think there's a number of elements about who we'd like to see coming in, though. Let's talk about it. What are we kind of hoping for position wise? I know me personally, I think now that Oyegoki's gone, who knows what Taylor's like, but a right back would be great. If Taylor is the answer, fair play, let's push with it. Alternatively, I want another winger at least, because me and you, Kev, spoke about a couple of weeks ago the difference in the left side to the right side, but someone on the right side that I know we're obviously looking at the Kazakhstani boy and Armstrong. I feel like we need to get someone in like that can take that right side, because
Musa's no the answer for me at the moment. Vargas isn't a winger for me, and well, I don't even have an answer for that right hand side when we look at an attacking point of view there. But any differences for you two?
No, I don't think so. I think they're fairly on the money with that. The Vargas one's an interesting one though, because I don't know. I'm struggling with him now, just because. See, I know he got misquoted and all that sort of stuff, but I don't know. Like that whole news article versus his delivery on the park. Very, very, very fast, losing the nut wheel.
I've got a question for you both. So we took a punt on Vargas in terms of we give him a loan to buy deal, and then we give him a 4 or 5 year deal, was it? Because we were like, we're going to make money off Vargas.
He's here until 2029, so he's a fair old shift.
A big one. Between him and Oda, though, realistically, is there much difference?
No. Probably not. Just looking at dead quick, Vargas has scored more goals, but in more games. His goal per game average is just slightly higher, 0.15 for him versus Oda, who is 0.13. So they're very, very similar in terms of the strike rate. I don't know.
No. All three of us just happily said, would they expect to see Oda leave? If somebody nobody's going to pay the money that Vargas for a 4 year deal that we would want to cover that. But yeah, do you cut your losses with him?
Again, it comes down to what other teams want. Do they want a player like Vargas? And let's be honest, if you're going to look at a player of his kind of, the way he plays football and everything else, and you've came and watched him over the last, let's say, 2 months, you've came and watched him in 3 games. Has there been anything in the last 2 months or 3 games in 2 months where he's actually stood out? No, probably not. And yeah, you're right, Ando. He was maybe misquoted in the papers saying that he wants to, at some point, I think it was what he was trying to get across, he wants to go up another level. Well, you've got to show consistency at this level to be able to get to that particular level.
Mm-hmm.
And if you're not showing the consistency, which he quite clearly is not at this moment in time, decision making, etc., come into it, then that's always then going to shadow any particular or any potential move to a bigger team or another league across Europe. So from that side of things, that's what he's got to then, in my opinion, got to concentrate on, is getting better at this level before he can even start to think about anything above that.
Agree.
Yeah, sure.
I just don't even see where he gets his sort of chance these days. If he's not going to, especially if we sign a right-sided sort of attacking winger. He's not. He's a 4th choice striker at this point now, isn't he? Realistically, now that you got Kamangu, Wilson, Shankland, he's not going to play in there. And then on the right hand side, obviously, where our options are minimal, but at the end of the day, he's not performing when he comes on there. So, I completely agree.
That's what it comes back to. It's as simple as that. Yes, if you want aspirations to move on, just find yourself at a particular level that you can show you have the ability to step up. That's the one thing he's got to look at. And you might find, again, going back to what you said about Tate, you might find that actually, do you know what? We're bringing in players of this kind of caliber, and if you want to have that aspiration, this is what the level you've got to get to, and that might be the kick in the arse he needs. Who knows?
100%. Agree. Anyway, any more on transfers? Any expectancies coming up? I think it'll be a busy last week, though. I think we will see incomings, outgoings. Probably less incomings, though, going forward. I think it's probably about trimming the squad more than anything.
Yeah.
And if we can get rid of the sort of deadwood, the players we've talked about that have not really contributed under Critchley, it'd be good. But I think the January window is always hard, and we'll see the big movement in the summer especially when all these contracts are kind of up. But again, you touched on Ando. I think it's believe in the Jamestown process and just kind of see where it goes. It's probably going to take at least 3 transfer windows to really see the benefits of that.
Well, we're waiting and we hope.
Exactly. Well, anyway, we'll move on. We've seen a home win for once. Obviously, I didn't because I was watching Jason Donovan's striking performance. Perfect hat trick and all that. But first of all, we'll talk about the. I did watch the first half. To be fair, I will add that in. But what did we think of the team pre-game? Were we happy with that?
There's a response.
Take that as a no.
I don't know. It's whatever team gets put out the now, right? And I know I'm probably just in that kind of mood. But you look at the team that gets put. It doesn't matter what team gets put out. I'm looking at it going, yeah, it's going to be terrible, isn't it? Like, you know what I mean? Like, I appreciate the new guys. We can't start them yet, but the only one person that I did look, first eyes are always drawn to who's in the goals. Gordon, roll the eyes. Right, we'll cover him in a little bit. I was obviously delighted to see Cabango starting, because you always just think that was the one crumb of hope in the squad. I'm going, oh right, okay, cool, he's in. The chance that we could kick on and do something we can add to his tally, blah blah blah. But I was pleased to see McCart starting as well. I thought he's been that was his 4th game, I think. Been solid in every game that he played. And the rest of it is almost, well, it's like a hole in the Titanic. It's going to cause you a problem eventually, isn't it? It's the again. I'm doing everyone a disservice by just sort of tarring them all with the same brush, but they were the 3 things. Gordon, aye, shakes head. Jamie McCart, yep, cool, thumbs up. And then Cabango, I'm thinking, yeah, the rest of it's just going to cause us issues.
Yeah, Kev, I don't know if you agree, but my biggest concern was how narrow that sort of midfield to attack kind of looked on paper. When you got Grant and Spittle, and obviously the left side works like a treat, but when you've got another 2 number 10s playing as wingers, you've got 2 sitting midfielders against Kelly at home, and then obviously two strikers, which is fine. 2 strikers are absolutely. But how narrow it was, I was a bit sort of, I don't know, apprehensive in a way. I was like, how's this going to work when on one side we're so narrow, but the other side we're also so narrow? Yeah.
So when I looked at our team yesterday, I didn't have a particular issue or problem. I think that was to be expected. I think probably the one that you would maybe argue is you would have thought Ogakoki might have played in at that right back position against, ahead of Forrester. So that was probably the one position that I was like, oh, I didn't expect that. But that was because we didn't know of the situation with regards to him possibly moving on. My concern then came when I seen the Kilmarnock team, because you're saying we became narrow. We could be, as far as I was concerned, and from where I was sat in the ground yesterday, we became narrow yesterday because they had a 5-man midfield. So they had 5 in midfield, whereas we only had 4. So what that effectively meant had to happen was either Spittle had to come deeper, which he did, which then meant that left side, in my opinion, didn't have the same fluidity as it has done over the past maybe 4 or 5 games.
Yep.
Because we were a man short in the midfield itself. So I understand why some people might thought we became a little bit narrow yesterday, but if you look at it from the point of view of Kilmarnock just having that extra man in there, they were able to appreciate they had a back 3, but they were then able to dictate a lot more, especially in that opening 5-10 minutes of the game yesterday. They were a lot more, I wouldn't say at it, but they were a lot more, they settled a hell of a lot quicker than we did. Appreciate Halkett goes out. You're then bringing in Lewis Nielsen, who's not played with McCart before, not played for Hearts for probably, 12, 15 months maybe? So from that point of view, there was a number of elements or a number of changes that were required. I know we're 1-0 up when Halkett went off, but it just felt that we didn't have the right balance against the opposition and who we're coming up against.
Yeah, I'd agree with that. It was good to take a sort of early lead as well, as much as it was first 10 minutes type thing.
Yeah, 7th minute, I think it was.
Aye, but at the same time, it felt like either team could lose a goal, either team could score a goal, either team could. It was quite nerve-wracking after that. So defensively, I think it was a bit weak on both parts, and that's not what you expect for a Kelly team. It's probably not historically what you would expect for a Hearts team at Tynecastle. In a sense, I know that's not the case as so much anymore, but I would agree completely. And I suppose it shows. I don't know how to put it, but would you have expected Steinwender to just being in the team, saying on the basis that we know Halkett could get injured? I know Steinwender's not played since November, but would you have liked him to just be in the squad? And had it been a case that had happened, he could have just came straight on?
I think we've even got his international clearance yet, mate, so it was never going to happen.
Oh, okay. So
Cartoon's
got his.
He's got his clearance. That was fine. I think there's still a delay in regards to Steinwender's from the point of view. I think it's something to do with the fact of how many games he's actually
game for Sweden.
Correct. So I think there's a number of elements around that side of things that might mean that we can't, because he said it. I'm sure he said that yesterday during his sort of little interview at halftime. Is that he's still, because of the visa stuff and everyone else, he can't even train. So he's probably, it might be Monday, might be Tuesday before he can even start training with us. And then off the back of that, you might not see him until possibly the Rangers game.
Right, okay.
Which is what, mid February?
2 weeks time, yeah. Fair enough. No, I didn't even realise that, to be fair. Obviously, I wasn't there. But obviously, then it goes, Kabangu continued his sort of goal scoring for Brecon. Took it well, though, in terms of first goal. No?
He did, right? He put it away. But I generally just found it a bit of a calamity of, not errors as such, but just a calamity of incidents that actually happened. It was. You know, Wilson, if he had a bit of pace, would have been able to get past whoever their defender was, right? But he doesn't have that burst of pace, right? Which is something we've been calling out for seasons. But he's cut back. He's put a great cross in. Grant's effectively just hit it straight back at him. What is that? I know, right?
Like, terrible.
But then, and people have argued with me yesterday about this. That was a shot from Wilson that went straight to Kabangu, who just went, thanks very much, I'll tap it into the net. But because it was so quick and so, bang, 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 it was actually, I found it quite comical as regards to an actual goal itself.
I agree. To be fair, I was thinking more about just the finish, and then you put on me, Kev, the build up to that. But I don't know if you've seen Sportscene, but they were saying it was a Kabangu foul against the centre half when he's just used his physicality. And if you look at Kyle Vassell, Marley Watkins, what have they done for years against Hearts?
Correct.
That exact thing.
Who were the pundits?
Stephen Naismith.
Aye.
Mikey Stewart.
Not better at all. Mikey
Stewart and Stephen Naismith.
Aye, okay, fine.
Yeah.
I never watched it, but I'm sure that's what the two guys. That was what the rest of the guys were saying in the chat.
Yeah. And to be fair, what we're thinking, he should have then went on and scored a second quite soon after. Yeah,
100%. 100%. I mean, you would think that he's buoyant in regards to just scoring. He's got an opportunity, let the ball come across and hit it with your right foot. I would have in that situation. I think majority of people would have done it. I don't know what he's trying to actually do. I think he's trying to play Wilson in, isn't he? But really, mate, just let it go. If had he not scored, I think he would have taken that opportunity. I don't know.
Yeah. I think, though, he's got that, from what I've seen in the two games, he's got that sort of chaos factor in a sense, and he seems to know exactly what positions to be in. He's took that dive at Brecon, and then Kev, you've mentioned to me earlier, he took another sort of dive in a way, but
He needs to. If he's going to do it, that's not the game, right? It's, let's be honest. Let's call it out for what it is. That's not the way in which football should be played. There is an element of it in the game. Of course, there is. You look at European football and the way which we've talked about the dark arts and how we need to get better at it, especially in European football. But there's elements around his game that he just needs to, polish up on and make sure that that doesn't come into the way in which he plays, if I'm being honest.
Yeah, but to be honest, altogether, Cabangu, I know we've got a lot more of the game to talk about. Positive about me. Like, it's exactly what we've needed for this season. I know Shanklин's not been firing. It doesn't look like many others have been firing except 17-year-old James Wilson, which you can't rely on a 17-year-old, can you, realistically? So, hopefully it just continues. And to be honest, early doors, I'm saying looks like a summer signing. We have the option to buy him. We'll see how it goes, but I'd take him right now if that was on the table.
I guess it depends on how much and everything else that comes into that. You look at it as a positive. If you've got the opportunity and the option, and he's been successful, and he's going to continue in that, then definitely.
Totally. And then as long as let's go to the second half anyway. Was it a positive sort of end of the first half, and then we got into the second half? We started all right, and then obviously Kelly equaliser. What did you think of that, Ando?
What was crap? Yeah. So who was it that equalised? What was the guy's name?
Wales.
Wales, aye.
Bobby Wales. That's it, right? Bobby Wales. To be fair, it's a great cross. That comes in from whoever it is. Again, another fucking Kilmarnock jerk. No idea who it was. Ball comes in, just gets half a yard in front of the defender and puts it past Gordon. Couple of things. Defender needs to do far better in that case, and don't let him get in front of you. Bobby 100%. Wales, what is he? 19, 20, young guy. You need to do better in that scenario. And Gordon getting beat at effectively what is your near post. I get it's fairly close range, about 10 yards. It's closer in the penalty spot, but fuck, what are you doing? It's terrible. The defense it was shit.
Yeah, it sums up a lot of this season, the way we've sort of defended and everything like that. It's tough, and we lose simple goals like that quite often, to be honest.
All the time, every game.
Yeah, exactly. And it probably says a lot that it wasn't McCart on that side. And I know that's harsh to just dig out Nielsen, but McCart's been pretty strong since he came in. But it needs to do better.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. Talking about McCart then, happy with his goal. I know he had the one cut off in the first half, but
which was harsh, by the way. I've seen the footage from Sky Sports in regards to the lines and everything else. I mean, don't get me wrong, the lines look like they've been drawn with flipping crayons. But, I don't think he's offside. I think the two in front are offside, don't get me wrong, which was probably Cabangu and Wilson. Mm-hmm. But McCart's, as far as I'm concerned, from those lines is actually onside. So I thought the goal should have stood. But his actual goal is straight off the actual training pitch. Great cross for Penrice. Penrice is, going forward, Penrice is untouchable at the moment. I think he's great. He fizzed in a couple of really good crosses in the first half, but his actual corner there was perfect. And McCart's got virtually the whole of the 6-yard box to just make sure he gets his head on it and puts it past the keeper.
Totally. And to be fair, it makes up for, was it last weekend where he hit the post? So, yeah, exactly. Obviously, quick succession, Grant. Corbett's been going on about in the community chat how Grant's never going to score a goal for us again. So it was kind of. It seemed like it was just one for Corbett, to be honest, because he's been bigging up George Grant for the last 2 years, and nobody else sees it. So, but at least he scored.
What's the keeper doing?
No,
what is going on there? Go on.
Let's not dress this up as something it's no you at the Rocky Horror Picture Show, right? This is not a good George Grant goal, right? If the keeper doesn't make an absolute Ricky Hunt of it, that's not a goal, right? This effectively, I want this taken off of Grant. and I want this given to, is it O'Hara?
The
keeper's name? Aye.
So it was the O'Hara Horror Picture Show, is that what you're saying?
Yeah, there you go. There's a show name, right? Or a variation of it. But yeah, I know it's not an own goal, right? But it's that tragic that he should be given the own goal against them for just how poor a performance that
Butland
is.
against Man United, though.
Yeah,
it's essentially that.
Yeah. So let's not fucking just go getting chubbies over how good George Grant is because he scored a goal. No. Fair enough. He still has to get up and stick the heat on it. Correct. But anybody could have done that, right? Yeah. It's the keeper howler here. Not a bit of brilliance from George Grant. So let's just temper that right down, please.
But you're 3-1 up, 60 minutes against Kelly at home, and we've all seen us get absolutely battered by Kelly because we touched on the statistics last week at home to Kelly. Kev, how did you feel for the last half hour then? Obviously they scored, so that wasn't great, but the rest of it?
So the last 20 minutes, I mean, we had opportunities in the last 20 minutes, right? Musa's had one, he's hit the post, and unlucky. I actually thought he took the wrong option to try and curl it into that bottom corner. I could see what he's trying to do, but I thought it was actually maybe easier just to dink the keeper or even actually get in the near post. And I'm going to give the actual keeper, for all that he had a howler for Grant's goal, he's actually, I'm not saying he's pulled off a great save. What he's done is he's just made himself big by putting his arms out, etc. And he's actually saved the second one, which was really good. But we have to discuss what the shitting hell Craig Gordon was up to for their second goal. That's in the 6-yard box. Yeah. The boy's coming onto it. Forrester can't defend, right? Sorry, mate, you just can't. And the ball's coming in high. Gordon's got to come and get that. Gordon's got to be screaming on Forrester that he's coming to get it. But all of a sudden, Gordon has become a shadow of the player he was, right? And I'm not picking, but he's got to be better at communication. His communication has got, I should have been able to hear him on row 18 in section G yesterday that he was coming for that ball. But never heard a single thing from him. He has got to say that is his every minute of the day.
The issue is, though, Kev, you say a shadow himself. He's never been like that.
No, exactly. This was his big criticism. One of his criticisms at Celtic, and like a couple of Celtic pals, and they said the same thing. His command of the area is crap. You look at when the ball gets hit, right from again, whatever fucking Ayrshire jobber it was that hoid the ball, right? You've got two defenders at so. For anyone that hasn't seen it, Gordon's over it. It was actually
Armstrong who we hoped to sign, Ando, but that's fine.
He's an Ayrshire jobber, right? So, as you're looking at it, if you see it from Craig Gordon's point of view, he's on his left-hand post, right? He's got two defenders covering the immediate vicinity, the corner of the 6-yard box, in the same area, right? And there's two Kilmarnock players, so they're man marking. There's one guy at the back stick, and we've got a defender marking him as well. Gordon is near post. His positioning for me is all fucking wrong because as soon as that ball gets launched, it's a high cross. It's going deep. He is too slow to move back across to the right-hand side. When he realises and he turns and he starts running and he fucking scrambles, and someone put this in the group chat yesterday, he's like a 7-foot tall keeper with no arms. He's not a particularly big guy. Just runs up and just stands there and goes, "Oh, I'm in the way now," and then fucking bang straight through him. Right? It's absolutely shit. It's a shit goal. It's 2 shit goals that we've lost yesterday.
Yep.
I'm not saying he's not at fault for the first one. Before anyone calls me out, what I said is he could do better. He absolutely could do better. You should never be beaten at your near post. Any goalkeeper will tell you that. Rule number 1. Well, rule number 3 or whatever. But and his positioning for this one, I thought was absolutely dreadful. Absolutely dreadful. And
he's got to come.
Again, also marry that up to the fact that his communication, as you have just covered, is absolutely shite. He should be screaming for that all day long. As soon as it leaves the jobber's foot, then he should be like, "That's mine," and make a move right away. For me, he's too slow to get back across goal.
Yeah, I agree with you. And that's the one thing, and unfortunately, he's not going to get quicker.
No, is he? Fuck, he's only going to get worse.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Well,
anyway, 3-2.
we've covered the yeah. That's what I was just about to say. We've won. We're finally off the playoff position in 11th place, and we're up to 9th. And what are we? 3 points off Hibs and 6th, the top 6. So,
well, the
plenty of
world
football
is
played.
Who have had a great season, seemingly.
I know. Yeah, obviously they're the informed team. Apparently,
is this?
So believe.
What?
Who are?
Our neighbours in Leith.
What, are we just deleting the first half of the season? Aye, okay.
No, they are the informed team, Ando. Do you not know this?
No, I don't.
They're the informed team, regardless, because Celtic lost the game, so they are the informed team.
Over what?
A draw yesterday, though.
Right, okay. Yeah, so you fit use whatever figures you want to fit your own narrative. Okay, cool.
The 3 points ahead. Ultimately, that's what it comes down to, and we'll see how that goes. So, but 3 points off 6, 10 points off 3rd. It's a big month coming up, to be honest. Realistically, everyone plays each other because, well, outside of the top two, there's nothing between them, and then St Johnstone are kind of languishing. Although won yesterday, but it's a bit mental.
It's a fucking horrible run of games, isn't it? Like
next 5 or 6 games, big.
Away to Dundee, away to St Midden, home against Rangers, away to St Johnstone, home to St Midden again, and then away to Hibs. Fuck.
See, the thing is though,
shit.
Realistically though, looking at that, you
don't say
as much as it's horrible, it could be worse. You've not got Celtic in that. You've got places that we've won it previously and away. I know.
I would rather have that. I'd rather have that run.
After we play Hibs, we've got Ross County, then Celtic. So yeah, it's a lot better.
Yeah. It's an interesting run. Is there a international break time in between the Hibs and the Ross County game? Is that why, or is that a cup weekend possibly?
I honestly don't know.
Is that because you're now a Denmark fan because you've got a Denmark shirt?
I've had that for like 3 years, Kev, but it's fine.
Yeah, I think, to be honest, I think the internationals do return in sort of March time, don't they?
20th of March, 20th and 23rd. So yeah, you're right. Nations.
All right, so I just noticed we play Hibs on the weekend of the 1st, 2nd of March, and then we've not got a game until the 15th. So it must be a cup weekend.
I think that'll be
that'll
be
be
next round of the Scottish.
Yeah, quarterfinals or last 16, whatever round it is. That'll be quarters actually.
Okay.
Anyway, you touched on it, Ando, so we'll just move on. Predictions. Dundee away. Kev, I'll not talk about it with you because last time I went up there we got battered, and I got battered.
We didn't get battered, but you were battered.
Yeah. Thanks for driving.
Yeah, pollution again, were you?
Yeah, it's not like me, innit?
No.
Don't even know. But I had to stop about 6 times on the drive up just for a pish. But anyway, what are we expecting to see first of all? What are we expecting? Let's just, to be honest, can we really predict anything? Should we just go for actual result predictions?
There's between now and Saturday, there's a lot of changes potentially could still happen. We may have incomings, we may have outgoings. I don't know. All things being equal and assuming nothing changes, which is the only way I suppose we can look at it. Away at Dundee, difficult fixture. They've had a couple of good results recently. If they beat Dundee United, they held Celtic to a draw. So, if they can do that,
team, to be honest. Exactly. Last season they were.
Look at them; they're shit on paper.
Yeah,
they've got like 3 good players. That's it. Maybe 2 actually. Realistically,
good manager though. To be honest, he's got them well drilled.
Yeah, but he's not Critchley, is he? They said
first
Tony
positive
Bloom
thing I've ever heard about you say about Critchley, to be fair, so I'll take it.
I'm starting to warm to him.
I like him. I'm on board now.
I don't know, but it's annoying. I can't believe I'm admitting this right at the back end of the podcast where nobody will hear it because everybody's turned that fan out. But I'm starting to warm. I'm starting to warm to him a wee bit. Which really upsets me. But yeah, I think it'll be a score draw. 1-1 or 2-2.
Yeah. Kev?
2-1 Dundee.
Fair.
Sorry to say.
Also, to be honest, again, I think it'll be. I'm on Ando's basis. I think it'll be 1-1.
It would take points. I mean, one of those ones, isn't it? You go as far to say that if you can go up, take a point, or get anything out of the game, and then back down the road without injuries, etc., take it now.
Mm-hmm.
Am I right in saying they had their game was called off yesterday?
Yeah.
Was it?
Damage at Celtic Park.
So oh wait, that's so they've got basically 2 weeks. Fair enough. So that doesn't help our cause, but we'll see.
Or does it?
So next week when we record, we could be top 6, or we could be back to 11. Probably. I don't even know how it works. It's so confusing. As a guy that doesn't know any maths.
Well, if you don't know anything about a subject, Tam, just keep quiet. There's no point in trying to count when you can't count, so it's fine.
To be honest, on that basis, next week, Ando, I'll just stay silent the whole podcast because I've got no idea about hearts or any subjects really.
I don't know. You probably miss next week as well. You'll be away at Harry Potter World or something like that. Hey? Well.
Kinky boots next week, mate.
Kinky boots. Fair enough,
right. Thanks so much, gents. I will leave this conversation. Speak to you all soon.
And on that, thanks to all for listening. We'll see you next week. But cheers, boys.
Cheerio.
Cheers.
Gargoyles.